This room with the marking letter of G is the guard room. Here you will attempt to steal random items from the guard. He's asleep right now, so what you're going to do is use an action to move into the room, and you'll use an action to attempt to steal a random item. Now you do not get to collect this random item until you use an action and move out of the room. This is very much like the dragon's lair. So let's see how many random items he can collect before the guard wakes up and chases him out. If you roll a 1 or a 2, the guard wakes up. If you roll a 3, 4, 5, or 6, the guard stays asleep, and you can either choose to attempt to steal another item or leave the room. So in this case, we're going to use an action chip to move into the guard room, and we're going to move an action chip to roll a die. So if you roll a 1 or a 2, the guard wakes up. If you roll a 3, 4, 5, or 6, you get a random item. 2. In this case, he immediately moves out, and he gets no items for that one. It does not take an action chip to be forced out of the room. Let's see if the green player has any better luck at this. He's going to use an action to enter the room, and he's going to use an action to attempt to steal an item. He's successful. Now, he can choose to use an action and leave the room and collect that item, or he can use an action to attempt to pick up another item. He's going to try it again. Another item. 2. He was unsuccessful. The guard wakes up, makes him leave the room, and he gets nothing. He doesn't even get the first item that he stole. So this was a failure for him. He didn't get anything. Now, if this player had a tarot card for a re-roll, he could go ahead and use that and attempt to re-roll the die. In this case, he was successful. Now he has 2 items. It's his choice. Is he going to attempt to steal another one, or is he going to attempt to go ahead and leave the room? He is going to go ahead and say 2 items is pretty good. He's going to use an action to leave the room. At this point, since he successfully has stolen 2 items from the guard, he now needs to determine what those 2 random items are. Page 6 of the rule book describes in detail of how you collect a random item. But this player received 2 random items, so I'm just going to fly through this a little bit more quickly. The black numbers are the main number, and then the white numbers below are a secondary number. So for the first item he collected, let's roll a die and see what he gets. He got a number 4. That means he got a lockpick. Now we don't know which lockpick he gets. He got a number 1, a 2, or a 3. Now he'll have to roll a second die to determine which lockpick that is. Let's see what he gets. He rolled a number 3. So he would receive a number 3 lockpick for 1 item. Now lockpicks are pretty difficult to get. If for some reason he rolled something bad like a number 4 and there is no number 4, he might choose to use his re-roll to re-roll the die and possibly get something that he can use. Let's see what the player gets for his second item. Okay, he rolled a 3. Now he's already got all the armor he needs, so, well, that was kind of a waste. There's no room for it, so there's nothing he can do. If the player had a cursed item, sorry, you can't replace a good item with a cursed item. You're stuck with a cursed item. So he really didn't receive anything on his second attempt at a random item. Keep in mind that just like in the dragon's lair, if you run out of action chips in this room, he will wake up, force you out, and you'll get nothing. So let's say that the player only has 4 action chips. He uses 1 to move into the room. He uses 1, successfully steals an item, rolls another, successfully steals an item, and uses his last action chip and successfully steals an item. He has no action chips to move himself out of the room. In this case, the guard wakes up, chases him out, and he gets nothing. You need to have 1 action chip left to be able to exit this room. No one can end their turn in this room.